Hello. Oh no. We're live. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay.
Whoa, everybody.
Whoa, you are now free. Dude, you're free.
Whoa, this is like the biggest day. But here, this is the thing. Isn't it funny how
Yeah.
it doesn't really feel that different? Okay, here we are.
It
Let's stay with
feels
this.
a little different to me, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I've watched the Declaration of Human Sovereignty now multiple times because we recorded it with Carrie Harrison
Yep.
and rehearsed it with Carrie Harrison. I've read it multiple times before that. And I also watched it this morning. People can go back and watch the first stream at 7:14 a.m. Pacific time. And now we watched it again, right? So it's something where I know, and it's also on your TikTok. If people want to tune in to and check out your TikTok, we're gonna keep uploading more and more clips there. That's at One Whole Earth Game on TikTok, and you can see all the clips there. So I do feel a little different, but I think if someone's just watching it for the first time, they probably want to go back and listen again, right?
That's right, because this is something you want to hear over and over again until you really understand that you are your own person. As soon as we understand this, then we have the freedom now to do with that life that we want. So, it sounds
Wow.
easy, and it's not easy. It's a lifetime changing, but like all these perception changes, what we did with this particular document is the few people that saw it today, and those who will see it from other times are going to continue to just understand that we are not alone in this universe and
Right.
that we're part of a big experiment. There's a lot of humanoid types of people. And what I tried to explain in this particular case is that we know the jig's up. Like there's been bases on the moon. There've been, the Greys have been working with our government to trade some information in exchange for some of what we have is the soul. Now, one of
Right.
the theories is that instead of mining gold, they're mining souls.
Mhm.
And gold and souls are the same word in the Bible.
Right.
Hmm. So it's interesting to see how you can switch that word around and good and God, get switched around. And this is where it is. I believe good applies to all things equally, and that God just goes to those people who have more money. So it doesn't apply to all things equally, obviously. So these apply to all things equally. Now, coming back to what we're talking about here, is this a beginning? This is the entry level into the next level of consciousness as we rise. So I found this as an individual years ago, and it's taken me this long to come to you. And I felt like today of all days, 7:14, um, in the middle of a politically charged time in our lives, in what seems to be a concerted coup of everything going on here. We don't know what is really happening. That's the confusion part of it. We're being bombarded by choices that don't really make sense to us, and this is part of a longer legacy. But today, we're talking about the ETs that we can imagine, but those ETs are messing with us right now. I mean, it's crazy. They're putting us together, like this, literally pitting us against each other just to see what's going to happen, I think.
Right, exactly. And I think it's interesting that you've been talking about 714 and the different symbolisms of 714 in your life and also beyond. And then isn't it interesting that we did have a major historic event yesterday? Um,
Crazy.
I mean, it's kind of, you've been preparing and we've been preparing for this human sovereignty and this declaration. And then really, right beforehand, we have this major, major world historic event. Do you think that extraterrestrials are behind a lot of the major events in human history?
Well, right, because we're the only one. Well, we've been led to believe that this is a one-time deal, and then we only have this life. So do what we tell you, or else we're going to take it from you. So, but the folks who are working with us and working against us are about the fact that there is no such thing as death. It's a weird construct. I mean, we're just waking up now as little baby kids into a galaxy just before we're ready to go into a supernova, before we're ready to go into a pole shift, before the sun is ready to pole shift. So I'm just trying to figure out how I can make the best of it.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
that's the thing. Okay, so remember, this is really fully self-serving. I'm trying to put the best spin on the worst possible situation. And that's what we do in alchemy. We take and we change our brain chemistry to go from a nihilistic, oh my gosh, it's never going to work. Oh, I'm just going to kill myself,
Mhm.
to we can always figure out a way. This is not the worst it can get. It can always get another level of worse, right?
Right. Exactly.
See, that's the thing. But we know now that, like, oh, okay, well, I can only say we, me, myself, and I, because that's the only person I can talk. But I'm hoping that somebody out there, and I know you did, you got Renee Lance against the world here, but we had Kerry Harrison. He actually read it.
Yep.
The question is, did he listen while he was reading? And then did you hear him? And then did you hear our Elizabeth, the computer, speak to us? Because Elizabeth came in because she knows how to orate a declaration.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
I was worried about the intonation, but Elizabeth, our artificial intelligent person, figured it out.
It sure did figure it out, and there was some great pictures. Okay, so when people go back and they watch this thing, the Declaration of Human Sovereignty, they can see that you edited in all these different pictures of extraterrestrials, humanoid extraterrestrials, and different concepts of what some of them look like. And so it really was driven home about the fact that we are not alone in the universe. And what I thought was interesting is, all of like Hollywood has really done a lot of painting extraterrestrials either as man's best friend or man's worst enemy. And I thought it was interesting that there's a whole section of the document, the Declaration of Human Sovereignty, that talks about all of the ways that extraterrestrials have taken advantage of us living on Earth. So they list a number of different things that extraterrestrials have taken license with. And so, what would you say to people who have sort of the opposite view, where they think any encounter with an extraterrestrial is going to be beneficial, purely beneficial, that they're so evolved that they're going to be compassionate, they're going to make inroads and benefits for us? What do you have to say to them about that?
Okay, so everyone gets to make up their own mind, first of all. I'm just doing my research, but I wanted to show you my research to see if you could, use it for your benefit. Okay. Now, remember, this is the thing. I came to school fully charged with free speech radio in my head. Like, I was already looking for answers. So when I went to school, I found basically that all things needed five things, and this connected to the game called Whole Earth Game, or the World Game. And then I
Mhm.
switched to Whole Earth Game so I could remember it and have it for myself. But it's basically the same things. So we all just need these five things when we're in three dimension. When we move to the fifth dimension, we don't need any of that. But we
Right.
don't get any of this. Okay. What we get here is this experience of touching and feeling, which is why I feel like, if all things are equal, then we must be having an experience for the creator, which is much like a taste bud in the tongue. Most taste buds, you cannot tell the difference, but each one has its own experience. You need all taste buds to get the real flavor of life. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So God or the creator is using all of our types of humanoid experimentation to get the taste of life.
Right.
But what I showed in this particular movie was just the eye candy you need to keep your light. See, what I found when I was studying with Thoth the Atlantean and the Emerald Tablets is that I needed to entertain my left brain and my right brain in order to keep my mind focused on what I was trying to learn.
Right.
And so this technique is what I'm trying to provide here, where the pictures are really just to support the idea that we're not alone. There are so many different types of life out there, and they look a lot like people, and a lot of them have brains, and they can do all kinds of crazy things.
Right.
I mean, our reptilian brothers and sisters do not experience life the same way we do, except when they
Right.
get into this particular meatbag body. I mean, they
On other
come in,
planets
they're
or
able to
bodies.
do some kinds of things. Or look at them now. That's a Palladian type, and it's interesting, isn't it? Interesting to see that our good friend Carrie is almost a classic Palladian type.
Yeah, people can see at the very end how you sort of dissolve from the extraterrestrial into Carrie Harrison, and you see how similar it's like the blue eyes and the blonde hair, and it's very similar, right?
But this is the thing, really, is I can do that to almost anything, right? Everyone has a star seed relative.
Mm-hmm.
Where nobody's out there by themselves. Okay, this is not just exclusive club. This is belongs to all people.
Right.
And then what I'm trying to show here is that like our ancient wisdom, our teachers from the past are here just as they were always. They are dressed right here with us.
Mm-hmm.
So that teacher is going to have one, if you have a strong teacher in your life, it's going to be this Christ consciousness. Now, the Christian consciousness, it's weird how it's been weaponized, right? Because
Right.
crystal represents the number three. It represents the number three. The number three in nature is a very strong mix, very strong bond. And if we look at the connection between H, hydrogen, and two oxygens, we see this connection, this three-way connection. Those are very, very difficult molecules to separate once they find each other. And H is always looking to connect with oxygen to condense into water.
Mm.
You see,
Interesting.
it's a three-way party. Isn't that
Right.
funny? So that three, but once you get water, I mean, water is the thing. Once it comes together, water is actually strongest. It's the strongest force than anything on the earth. You would think stone would be stronger, but water will dissolve stone.
Wow.
The
That's
softest
true.
is always, and now we're in the Tao. So the Tao is the way. The Tao is the timeless way. The Tao is the thing without name. The Tao is such that it will always be bigger than anything you can think of.
Right.
And
Right.
so now it's bigger, and you're part of that. See, now remember that. See, you're part of that. So isn't that cool?
I think that is cool. I do when I've been talking to people about the Declaration of Human Sovereignty. It's so interesting because the people that get it really get it, and the people who don't want to believe that Earth has ever been visited by alien life, they just don't want to talk about that. What was your journey in understanding what now the US government says? I mean, the US government has basically admitted that there are UFOs, there are unidentified things in our airways, right, in our airspace. But what was
Right.
your journey? Were you always open-minded? Did you always feel like man was not alone on Earth and that there was a whole solar system? Or did it take you some time?
Well, no, I mean it's only this is a new revelation really for me as well. But let me think of what I used to think about, right? Like what I think about now is that it's like we are all connected to every living thing in this particular universe. But that's really interesting. What I used to think, well, I've always been clairvoyant and I've always been super empathic, and so I can always feel other people's pain.
Mhm.
And I have this finding now at this age that I have this one of these memories that just won't stop, and I can't forget most things. So it just sticks with me. Everything that's really valuable sticks with me. Of course, with the things I really need, I can't find when I'm looking for them, but they come back to me when I'm driving away usually.
Mhm.
And here again, we're just, I'm here to just on this day is 7/14. This is the day of Bastille is celebrated in France. And I wanted to celebrate it here today about and create a global, at least a declaration by one guy to the
Yep.
rest of the world that there is a way out of this. Now, I don't know if it's going to help you in the round. If they round us all up, will it help you? I think it will. I think it's the strength knowing that you're not alone, that you're part of something bigger is always an encouraging feeling. Okay, so what I wanted to know, of course, is like what everybody wants to know as you're getting older is like what goes on after death? I mean, is this all there is? I mean, what am I going to do? Like, what can I do? And then, of course, for me, I've just had this inclination because, and it wasn't really my choice. I mean, literally is something that came to me in the middle of the night, got me out of bed, and said, "This is the thing you're going to do." And when I tried to walk away from this thing, it kept something would come up and it would come back to me. So I went off on a journey into trying to stay away from this thing, but I kept being brought back in.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're here today. And I mean, maybe this is the end of my obligation to my higher power to do whatever it takes to get this word into the ears of as many people. Now, it's said. Now, remember, we are looking at the life of Thoth, the Atlantean. And Thoth in the Emerald Tablets explains that he's just a regular person here on Earth looking for his, everybody wants to know why they're here, what should they do? And the thought came to him that he would be the teacher. So he is the teacher of writing, the teacher of math, the teacher of music, the teacher of love, the teacher of poetry, the teacher of everything that we hold in the polymath. Whatever our intellect can provide, can hold on to. Thoth was there to give it to us, or so. But what's interesting to me is that he took it. It came to me in the first person. It comes in the first person. And so up to that point, I'd only heard stories about Jesus or stories about other people from other people. But this was a firsthand account of I am Thoth, the Atlantean. I came here, and this is how I went
Mhm.
through my process of ascension. And basically, Thoth, even though he looks a little strange and is kind of a bird beak and, um, is a math geek, obviously, architect. He loves everybody equally. And the information that he provides applies to all human beings equally. And with this information, you can too, design, build, and construct a pyramid the size of our Giza. I mean, we can all do it intellectually. I mean, how do we do it physically? We're still trying to figure out how they were able to do it physically. And but that was my big thing. So when I met Thoth through the Emerald Tablets, I realized that I found a person, a teacher that I could follow and feel good about. Um, and I think it's important because philosophy kind of fills in the gaps. It helps us through hard times. If we understand philosophy, then we understand that there's a process, and we're just a small part of a very much larger process.
Right. Now, you have pictures of crop circles in here, and what is the significance of crop circles?
Well, in this particular case, each one of these crop circles is another expression of the flower of life. Each one of those is an expression of the flower of life, and it's kind of a recurring theme, and it's a wink and a nod to Thoth, the Atlantean, and Metatron's cube, and um, I don't know. It's like geometry is this language that is the same anywhere in the universe.
Right.
So
Right.
mathematics and numbers of ones and zeros and 1 plus 1 equals 2 plus 1 equals 3 is very, it's a big deal. And pretty much anywhere you go, if you can do this, I guess. So we're into
And
something.
why is it that extraterrestrials are interested in the crop circles? Are they imparting messages? Is
Well, see,
that what
that's
it
the
is?
thing. You know, the entire plane of Giza is based on a geometric pattern. Each one of those pyramids is placed exactly where it's supposed to be in order to explain clearly to anyone who understands mathematics and geometry that you are not alone. You're part of a bigger thing. Stick with us, and you're going in the right direction. Nothing to worry about. We've been here
Right.
before. We're going to be here next, and we'll be here afterward. Live and travel without harm. That's your job.
Right. Now, why do you think the vast majority of ETs who have come to the planet Earth, why do you think they're here? Is it mining operations, resources? What are they? Because some people think they're here to like help humanity. Some people think they're here to just take our resources. What's your inclination?
Well, see, remember, we're in polarity, right? We're in a polarity. The law of polarity comes to work right now. I mean, there's no wrong way, and yes, to everything. Okay, so everything's happening at the same time. They're using to mine us. They're using us for just for fun, for games, for whatever. Everyone comes to Earth. Maybe this might be now. One thought is that Earth is a speck of, a tiny dust speck, but it ends up being the finishing school for many, many. Like, imagine getting ice time on a certain arena.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sign up.
Yeah.
Well, right after they clear the ice at this next Nova, there's another group ready to come in and try their luck
Right.
for 13,000 years. You see what I mean? And
Right.
they won't even know we were here. And of course, we're not going to know they were here. And then we're going to come back in 13,000 and try it again for ourselves, right? And see how we can do this time. You see, it's like an endless game of just
Yeah. Yeah.
how do you want to do it? Now, let me ask you, Renee, the fact that you know that you're in an endless game, does that change the way you're going to play the game tomorrow?
Not really, because I still have to get up and I still have all the same responsibilities. Does it affect you? How does it change your daily routine?
Well, I got to say, I mean, my wife would be in the same category as you.
Mhm.
It doesn't change a thing. I'm just going to continue to do my thing. And I got to say, I'm thinking, like, really? Why do you get to play it safe?
Mm.
Why don't you just go ahead and take a chance?
So
Why don't you go ahead and take a real fat chance and just come up with some big ass idea of how it's just all going to work out?
right, right. Well, in a sense, we have changed, and that's one of the reasons why you did this, because you want people to get dislodged from their complacency, right? You want
Yeah.
and one of the things that's going on is that, at the end of this, it says you are now free. What are you going to do with that freedom? So I'm on the cusp because I come in with a certain attitude, but after today, I'm probably going to exit with a different attitude.
Well, I hope
And
you do. This is again, it's not like this is the weirdest thing, okay? And this is the weirdest thing. Just what you said. Can I hear you say that again? I want to hear that one more time.
yeah, that I come in with a certain attitude and I'm going to exit with a different attitude after watching this declaration.
And that's funny because I think that has a lot to do with the transition from life into the other life.
Mm,
You
good point.
see, it's just this kind of like, I mean, people around you are kind of making a big deal of it, and they're jumping up and down and having some tears about things. But honestly, you just like went from one room
Right.
to the next room, and you went in, you went, what the hell was that all about? Like, how about the person who went to the Trump rally and ended up with a bullet square in his face?
Yeah. Awful.
Boom.
So
What? I don't know. Is that horrible or is that really like what?
it's insane, it's awful, it's
Literally
so
1 minute
terrible.
he was standing there with a body, and the next minute he was standing there and his body was falling to the bleachers.
Right.
Isn't that
Yeah.
weird? How about the guy
That's
that was on the roof with the gun? You know,
mhm.
he oh, you know, it's really hard to be an assassin on top of a roof. You know, it makes it look so easy, perhaps in a game or something, right?
Mm.
I mean, just the littlest breath of wind moved that bullet over,
Yeah.
and it just grazed him.
And now there's conspiracy theories everywhere. So I mean, and
Of
that's
course there
something
is.
that
Of course. Oh, well, this is
we
the
are
whole point.
still
Now, who set it up? Like, did they, you know, this is totally what people do. But we have that little snip that got out. That's bone chilling, huh?
yeah, yeah. And I'm just watching. This is Carrie Harrison here, by the way, people. For people who don't know, yeah, You Are Now Sovereign. This is Carrie Harrison was reading.
You are now sovereign. He knows, and he did it. So he finally read it now, and his voice is designed to take it further than we can bring it ourselves.
Right.
So whatever they want to do, just this is the way we make sausage. So we don't have any secrets.
So
I think
here's
we're just going to cut right from where he says, and we're going to tell you about it now,
mm-hmm.
to the computer, and then to the very end, and have him do the wrap up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then cut all that out, and then we're down to about 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and each
But
one of those.
I want to ask you about sovereign because you have on the screen here it says you are now sovereign, you are now free. So
Right.
the declaration itself, the comprehension and ticking the box like Carrie says, that itself is freedom. So freedom starts where? It starts in your will and in your
That's right.
mind.
That's right. It starts in your mind.
Mhm.
You are free if you choose to be,
Right.
and now you know that you have a choice.
Right.
There you go.
And that's the truth of all freedom, you know? It's once you make that decision that you can be free, you can live the life that you want to lead. You don't have to be beholden to anyone else. You don't have to bend your will to somebody else's. That's the prison gate opening.
That's right. That's right. And then, see, now this part here is really, this last part is super important because it does burn in that Dymaxion map.
Right.
It's for you and I to figure out a way to get that Dymaxion map into the news cycle. Like what's really happening. We should have a graphic about how to get the pole shift onto those things.
Mhm.
And we could do a 30-second pole shift update as to where the pole is today. Do you see?
Yeah. Mhm.
I want to do that. And
What
then,
is the importance of the Dymaxion map?
well, it
That's
changes the perspective from looking at either a Russian centric viewpoint or
right.
US centric viewpoint or African centric viewpoint to a
Right.
North Atlantic center of the true center of the world.
Mhm.
And then each of the land masses is shown flat but undistorted.
Right. Yeah, so there it is. So you see it unfurling.
These are undistorted. So now we can look and see really this is where the heat sink is. You see where the water is. You see where
Yeah.
how it moves through. You see, I mean, isn't that great? And the
Yeah.
first time I saw that map, I'm going, oh, now I know where to put the food. Like, why don't we put the stuff from the green into the orange and the orange into the green? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
and then when you see, of course, when you see it like this and you say, how did human beings travel across the world? You go, oh, well, that's easy. They went boom, 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 boom. You know, that's what we do. Of course,
Yep.
they were, going after Neanderthal and probably
All
eating it.
kinds of yeah.
I don't know. That was a whole different crazy time.
That was a whole different time. And I don't what do you know the origins of this map of who was first
Yeah, of course. This is
inventing?
Buckminster Fuller's. It's the last patented flat map in the history of the world.
It's really beautiful.
It's beautiful.
They should be teaching this in school as much as with the globe. I
Well,
grew up
you
with the
think they
globe,
would
right?
teach, well, see, now here we go with Wallace and Darwin, survival of the fittest, beat the fuck out of them, or survival of the best, because evolution is such that it doesn't reward waste. It doesn't reward bad ideas. It always comes up with a new idea. There will be a new version of us to improve on the last version of us, the next version of us, right?
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, with a few star seeds thrown in, and then a few of our, our like intellectual properties turned on or off. But anyway, Renee, we've had a long day and a long week, and this has been a lot of good hype. We are almost done with our breakdown. I want to thank you so much. I can't thank you enough.
We're chasing each other with the.
Yeah,
We're chasing each other with that. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. We got a lot.
That's the way.
Absolutely, that's the one. Yes, we've done a lot, and here's the thing. So if somebody's watching this and it's no longer 7/14, July 14th, that's okay. They can come back, they can watch again and again and again, and they can comment and they can. I feel like it's going to take people time to unpack this in their
Yeah.
minds. It's not overnight sometimes.
This is something that we did today, but we did it. We put a good effort there, and with you, we really were able to get it further along than I would have been able to do by myself.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
with Carrie now, you see, I don't know why, Carrie. Anyway, we got to build with fans who got fans on the TikTok and such. We got to build TikTok.
TikTok is out of control. If everybody wants to go, if you guys go to at One Whole Earth Game on TikTok, you're going to see every time, the clips that we posted today from this declaration, we're getting 500, 600 views, just within a few hours. It's crazy.
Wow.
There's a lot of response to this because people are very interested. And honestly, this is a big issue. This is a huge issue. So we're gonna continue to clip little parts out 1 minute at a time of this declaration. So if you guys go to the TikTok, you can weigh in, you can comment, just be open, be honest, ask questions. And this is this is a long-term thing. So even after today, we are still going to be talking about this.
Well, Renee and I are getting into a little bit of a habit forming thing here. But I promise you, no one's going to get hurt in the process.
Unless the ETs come.
Be some emotional backlash. It always has. But the thing is, here we go. We're on to something, and then I just want to say that my musical career is really taking off thanks to Renee.
Oh wow! Yes.
I am dropping some church music in the next few minutes here. So if you like what you see here, keep coming back. It's going to come through you, Renee. I'm giving it to you, baby.
All right. Well, I'm very excited by that.
I mean, for your nighttime to get you to sleep, just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Sit back and enjoy it. And again, if people go to your TikTok,
and if you have a big screen TV,
yeah,
you're going to want to watch this.
Okay, well, that's going to be dropping in just a few minutes. And again, if you guys go to this TikTok, you're also going to see some really cool soundtrack composition that for Skyrim. I know a lot of people love playing Skyrim. That got so many views within the first few hours because everybody loves Skyrim. Everybody loves video games. And these guys made their own soundtrack, improvised soundtrack, and it sounds so good. It looks so good with the video game.
When James and I play next time, we're going to know what we're doing. It's actually going to be really cool.
Oh, it sounds so good.
Lined up. And, that's 26 episodes coming up in the next few months.
Wow.
So, it'd be at least 26 hours of music and walkthrough of Skyrim, just to meditate and just to jam and hang out. But wait until you see this. I am thrilled. This is a church thing. It's going to have two parts. The first one's dropping, and this is just the rehearsal part of it. So
and I haven't heard any of this.
For church, it's cute as hell.
And I've never heard any of this, so I'm going to be experiencing it with the fans.
Amazing cat. He's my pastor. He, I don't even know what the church is called. It's like the Unity Church or whatever.
Yeah.
But
he has a podcast.
and his voice is amazing. And I play drums for him, and then I've got Roy on bass, and Jared Zizix is playing melodic guitar in the back. So
Wow.
you're gonna really dig this one. But it's really some of my simplest, most amazing work. And remember, now everything between you and I that I was trying to get with Goose, I
Yep.
was able to achieve in this next video.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I can't wait. I'm going to be seeing it. I'm going to be experiencing it. And everybody who's watching this, you can
Thank
find
you
it.
so much for checking in, and we'll check in now. Yeah, and I'll talk with you another time.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank
Good
you so
night.
much.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Bye.